Good morning. Come join me for a little bit of shoulders and hips, particularly if you're feeling a little up here. Okay, let's come over. And it is 4:45 here in Calgary. And easy, easy, easy breath. Let's find the bottom of the feet, center of the heel, ball of the foot, base of the pinky toe. So again, what we're looking at here is center of the heel, ball of the foot, base of the pinky toe. So we're right here. Okay. Maybe lift your toes and then let the toes come down. And just notice your breathing. Okay, so now let's bring the arms over your head. So bringing the arm up and then pulling down and bringing it up and coming down. And inhale up and exhale down. So just do on your own breathing rhythm. And go for 2 more. Okay. Palms come down. We're going to move the arms wide. So this shoulder is the articulating joint. The elbow is moving along for the ride. So it comes out, and then palms come up, and then this way, and this way. And then if we add the breathing, it's exhale, exhale, exhale. Now, what's important here is that this is the arms at the shoulder joint they're doing the movement. I'm not doing this. So I'm not coming into a back extension, right? So I'm here, here, and then here, and here. And this way, 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 and this way. This way, and this way. You can breathe out through your nose or out through the mouth. Okay, 2 more. So that's 1 and 2. Okay. All right, now stand and easily breathe. Okay, now it's interesting how sometimes when we're holding tension up through here, and this starts to release a little bit, how we can kind of settle back down into our feet. Okay, we're coming over to the wall. Okay, just bring your hand onto the wall. Now you get to decide where to place your hand, okay? Because sometimes when we bring the hand up here and then extend the wrist, we can feel quite a bit of a dural stretch or a nerve stretch, like the tissue of the nerve stretching through there. And so we want to make sure you're not going into pain and it's not too much. So play around with taking the arm to here. And so if you need to come out here or you need to drop the hand, you do that. You figure it out. Okay, and then just breathe. Okay, now we're going to walk forward. So we're going to be moving with our feet, but the joint we're moving through is the shoulder joint. And then come on back. So again, this might increase what this feels like through your shoulder and into your hand. So you decide how high or how low you put your hand. Now I'm going to just go a little closer and bring my arm up a bit. People often find that there's a different orientation through the shoulder, and so it gives a different experience. now, just bring that arm down for a moment and notice the difference between your left and right side. And then we're going to come back up with the same arm, but instead of moving forward with our feet and our legs, then we're going to move the arm back this way. Okay, so again, you choose how high the arm is up on the wall. And remember how the palm of your hand is an extension of your heart. Good. And then bring that hand down. Okay, notice the difference between your left and right side, and let's do the same thing to the other side. So I'm going to come back. Arm's going to come up, and then walk through. And then come back, and then walk through. And just noticing your breathing and your breath. What's really amazing about our breathing is we often tend to focus, if our breathing's limited, we tend to focus on getting more breath in. And something I want you to think about is, before breath was breath, it was air sitting in front of our face. And then a vacuum occurs, there's a pressure change and it comes in. Now the amount of that ability for the air to come in has a lot to do with how our body moves. So when we have limitation, like oftentimes people can brace when they're stressed, they can brace in through the rib cage. So if they're bracing through the rib cage, the ability for the diaphragm to drop and for the lungs to expand gets limited. So I like to call our bodies a mechanical pump. And when I help someone move better, then their tissue starts to relax and release a little bit, and that then helps improve the breathing, right? Because if we can help this area here release, and then we're breathing better, then we can connect better to the pelvic floor. And the pelvic floor and the diaphragm are bottoms and tops of the cylinder. And so those are key factors, not only to breathing, but also to your coordination and control of your core. Yeah? So now what I'd like you to notice is can you experience your pelvic floor right now? Like, can you feel the orifices of your pelvic floor? And just notice that. And you might not. Like, it would not be surprising at all to me if you're like all held up. And so if you are, then just notice that you are and feel whatever you can feel as you breathe. Ultimately, where you're moving toward, but this is not likely going to happen today, ultimately where you're moving toward is as you're breathing, that pelvic floor is going to be moving down. It's as if the air is coming into the orifices of your pelvic floor, the breath's coming into the orifices of the pelvic floor on the inhale and coming out on the exhale. This doesn't mean to like try and let go your pelvic floor in the inhale and then contract your pelvic floor in the exhale. I just want you to feel, if you can, whatever amount of that natural movement might be there. Now, like I said, it would not surprise me at all if you're all like holding yourself together through your pelvic floor. So just feel whatever is there. And feel really the boundary of your breath and where your body's walls are. So you can feel where maybe the grip or the tension or the brace might be. And think about it as much as you can from a physical feeling place. Okay? So what I'm saying is you might feel the emotion of fear, or you might feel the emotion of anger, and that's a boundary for the breath, which is completely cool. What I want to see if you can translate that to is, what does that actually in your body as a physical sensation, does it feel like? Does it feel like a wall? Does it feel like a knot? Does it feel like spin? See if you can feel that physical feeling. Okay, now bring the shoulder blades up and then back and then down. So we're going to inhale and then exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Great. Let's take the legs wide. Okay. Really, really simple movement at the hips. So legs and hips, feet are following. They're not leading. Okay, so even though it might look like they're leading, I'm not turning my feet out. My feet are turning out because of what I'm doing at my hips. Okay, and we're going to just come into this. It says, I love doing this particularly in the morning, or if I've been sitting for a long period of time, because we're moving on the same sides of the body, doing the same thing. Okay, so let's just feel the bottoms of the feet again. I don't know about you, but what I've noticed about my own pattern of experiencing uncertainty is I tend to come up into my body, and I vacate my abdomen, and I need to reconnect into my legs. Good. And then come back up. Okay, so now again, let's come down. Feel the 3 points in the bottom of your feet. And just notice, as you came down, did you hold your breath? And if you did, then just come back up. Okay, find that breathing again, and then come down. There's something I'm just becoming more and more acutely aware of is the longer this goes on, the more we need to be able to transform and transition, and how vital our breathing is going to be. There's only so long that any one person can endure. Right? We only have so much ability, and people can do it for a long time. It just becomes very depleting and draining, which can create a whole host of other stuff. So if we can allow our movement and to support us and our breathing to shift and move, there's a lot of allowing here, not forcing, then the better. I also really believe that we can come out of this better than we came into it. And I'm not being a Pollyanna. There really is a new opportunity here. Okay, now, come on up. Okay, now just let's feel that. Feel that. Have you woken up about half an hour ago? This now feels good. Okay, let's take the legs wide again. Okay, articulating joint here. Rotate that out. Pelvis will likely come along. This leg rotates as much as you need it to. Okay, we're going to just come into a very, very small warrior 2. Okay. Now my arm here, I'm just going to place the hand on the wall. You don't have to. I'm just doing this because I've constrained my space this morning here a bit. So your hand can be completely extended with no wall. All right, now let's take a peek here. Let's start to move this way and then come up. And if you want, take this hand on the outside of the thigh and then come up. Okay, good. Now this arm comes up like this. Okay, and let's bring the arm back a little bit. Yeah, so you're just kind of playing around with moving in this shoulder. If you want to take a few little circles, but just make sure you can do this. Like you're not like raising the shoulder up. Just make sure you can do this. Yeah. Okay, and then you're going to rotate that arm bone at the shoulder and then come back like so. Now some of you, without keeping, you got to keep this still. Some of you might be even able to take the hand right around, right? But just here is fine. And the legs, they've stayed the same, okay? And from there, we're going to come back up. And then we're going to come to the other side. Okay, so we're going to rotate. This is the articulating joint. Good. And then we're going to come into warrior two. Now I'm actually going to move back a little bit so I've got a bit more space here. Okay, there we go. All right, feel those center of the heel, ball of the foot, base of the pinky toe. Feel that? Okay, now come down. Now if you want, you can take the hand on the outside of the thigh and then start to move the arm. Okay, feel the feet while you do this. Center of the heel, ball of the foot, base of the pinky toe, and then rotate that arm bone, bring it in behind. There you go. And then your back foot, feel the back edge of the back foot. And then come back up. There you go. All right. And then come here. Great. All right, now from here, let's come to the side. Let's come into a high lunge. Okay, now, if you've got a wall handy, how about bringing that heel to the wall? And then just press that heel back into the wall. Yeah, and so there's a nice harmonious line here. So when I've brought my leg back, I haven't, my back's arching obviously, but I'm not like sticking my ribs out. Our leg, in normal days, has between 3 and 11 degrees of extension at the hip socket. So when we move past that point, then the pelvis will move with it. But you'll notice that there's a harmony here. We don't want the pelvis to have to like overly anterior tilt compared to what the leg bone's doing compared to what this part of your body's doing. So you're looking not so much for alignment, I think, in our bodies. I think we're looking for harmony of position, if that makes sense. There's a subtle difference between how the parts relate and is there a harmonious whole versus like rigid, solid alignment. So that heel presses back, and then again, just come back into your breathing, and if your breathing's become held more so than it was, then ease off a little bit on your effort. Okay, come up into cowboy surrender. And then if you want, take those arms up. And then from here, step forward. Okay, let's go to the other side. So now, you come in, oops, and then we're going to press that heel back. But of course, the amount of effort you're using correlates to your ability to breathe. Yeah? And then we can take those arms up. Feel the bottoms of your feet, center of the heel, ball of the foot, base of your pinky toe. And then arms can come right up. Okay, and then arms down and then up. Okay, now come back into standing. you're going to take your hands into little fists, okay? And we can call this Tarzan breath. And just gently pound your chest. And then as you exhale, you can exhale through your nose and your mouth. Okay, and then come down here. And your hands will lose sort of rhythm. All right. Okay, let's come back to what we did earlier. So palms down and then move through the shoulder joint. So exhale, 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 and exhale. Yeah? Exhale, exhale, and exhale. Exhale, and exhale, exhale, and exhale. Exhale. Good. And then feel those feet again. All right, now notice what you feel subtly inside of you. Okay, now notice that. And now what becomes really, really cool is start to feel what you feel. So for me, there's a lot more movement subtly in myself. I can feel the flow of energy. And now just for fun, I'm going to start to add tension. So I'm going to grip my hands. And then I'm going to grip my ribs and my belly, but in a kind of a bracey kind of way. And I'm going to do that with different parts of my body because I'm teaching this to you because I want you to notice what happens to that feeling inside when you start to grip and brace. And how that feeling inside starts to find other little places just to kind of go, or it diminishes, or it shifts, or it changes, right? So I want you to notice when you start to get tighter, how that inner subtle energy feeling, call it your life force, call it your prana, call it whatever, starts to get thinner or move or something, but it's not quite as visible, it's not quite as felt, yeah? So notice that. And so this is why it's so important for us to keep coming back to being spacious or allowing our tissue to become settled so that we can reconnect with that inner feeling. This is so important, right? So important. So important, okay? So from here, we're now going to come forward and then bring our hands onto it like a chair, or you can do a wall. Yeah. Okay, and do your best not to be in a position like this. Do your best to allow your movement through your shoulders and your hips. And think about moving, for me, I've got the wall behind me, so I'm moving my hips toward the wall. And connecting to the bottom of the feet. Okay, lovely. Good. Okay. And now from here, we're going to come into a sitting position. Now you can be on the floor if you'd like, or in a chair. We're going to take the hands here, and we're going to start to take a twist. So now when I do twists, I keep my pelvis quiet. And the reason why I do that is because the twist, the engine, are the obliques, and they attach to the pelvis, and then the rib cage is the mover in this case. So long as I'm focused here, and I'm not like reefing off with my arms, then I can get a really nice connection in here. And I find that actually helps people with SI and sciatic issues, piriformis issues. Whereas when we make the movement about the arms and tug and pull with the arms, this area essentially becomes passive. And we don't, particularly these days, we don't want that. Okay, good, and then come back. Okay, let's come back this other way again. So we're gonna move. Nose stays in line with the breastbone, and then the hands come in, and then we're gonna take the twist. Good, and then good, great, okay. Okay, ankle comes up. Let's bring that onto the leg. And think about rotating this leg bone, not so much pushing the knee down. I want you to think about it more from the hip, so that the leg bone is moving in the hip socket. And the other foot, the ball of the foot, the base of the pinky toe and the center of the heel, that's just resting on the floor. Good. Okay. And then come here. And then this side. Easy, easy breath. Good. Okay, and then this comes off. Okay, now I'm going to come onto the corner of my chair here, and if you're not using a chair, just come into a lunge. I'm going to bring this foot straight back, and I'm in a lunge now. Okay. My heel is pressing backward. Okay. Now, one thing I want you to watch for, because this can often happen, the leg can come back and then the ribs pop forward, right? And so what I want you to think about is that try and keep yourself as not anchored still, but just still, and be aware of your leg coming back. And that your ribs aren't poking forward to make it happen. So that heel pushes straight back. Yeah. Okay, and now your hands come here. Let's do our twist again. And think about, like, the motion is you're twisting while that heel is pushing back. It can be really interesting in through the front of the hip and the side of the hip. That's in myself anyway. I'm not sure about yourself. And then let's take the hand on the outside of the thigh and the other arm in behind. Now this back arm, this one here, my shoulder blade's going to retract a little bit, and this arm's going to protract a little bit. And again, just watch any extraneous tension, yeah? Man, like now more than ever, we really need to be able to connect with that. I think okay, good. And then come back. And then let's change it up. Okay. So that heel is pressing back. I'm aware of my foot on the floor. Good. And now here, I'm going to take a twist. arms, but I'm not pulling with my arms. I'm using the back shoulder blade to retract. Front one is protracted because there's a really cool connection between the muscles that work the shoulder blades and the obliques through the serratus anterior. All right, good, and then coming back. Lovely. Okay, so now we're here. Okay. Breathe. Yeah, and breathe. And notice what you feel. Okay, take your hands onto whatever part of your body needs a little bit of love. Remembering that the palm of your hand, on each hand, is an extension of the heart, right? The acupuncture meridians come from the heart and the lungs, and they come right to the bottom of that, through the hand. So think about the palm of the hand being an extension of your heart. So then just warm them up and then place them wherever it needs a little bit of love, whether it's your belly or your chest or back to your heart or your eyes. And then easily breathe. And then come back into breathing. And notice the inhale coming in, exhale going out. All right, bring the palms together. You stay here for as long as you need, or go on and do whatever it is that you need to do, but however you transition when you move, just take 5 more breaths. And count them on your exhale. And whenever you finish those, take a moment to breathe in with ease and out with gratitude. Namaste. Have a really